Hello, everyone. It's Professor Schachter, and I'm here to discuss with you Chapter 7. Now, we're not going to be doing the whole chapter because if you follow your syllabus, we're only going to be covering, I would say, about 25% of your chapter. Now, what we're going to be focusing on in this chapter is the difference between sales objectives, marketing objectives, and communications objectives. And before I launch the PowerPoint, I like to make a few things clear. There are three different things. And one of the things that is different about them is the fact that marketing objectives are what guide communications objectives. So, communications objectives aim to satisfy marketing objectives. That's a foundational because marketing objectives and communications objectives are tied together. Yes, communications objectives have also tried to implement and achieve sales goals, obviously, and especially when it comes to sales promotion and such. But in this chapter, we're going to look at each one of these individually, their pluses, their minuses, and discuss them in the sense of how they relate to each other. The PowerPoint presentation is the same one you have um, on your in your Blackboard shell. So I'm about to share it right now with you and go over it. I'm going to double check to make sure that I'm sharing. Okay. So I apologize for my cough. So let's look at it this way. The communications objectives facilitate coordination of the various product groups. What does that mean? It means that whether we have a large portfolio of brands or just one brand, well, and whether we have the sales department, the marketing department, and other departments, communications, it's what the customer sees, your target audience, and they must deliver on the goals, the missions, and the objectives of all the other groups and the other brands. So these objectives are what guides how we make decisions. So, for example, if we know we want to increase, let's say, the amount purchased, we may also look at sales promotion. If we want to attract a new market, a new customer base, we can look at sales promotion, we can look at social media, but we need to understand who we're speaking to and what our goals are within that context. And then we need to measure how effective our communications objectives have met the objectives of the other groups. So for marketing objectives, we need to identify what we want to accomplish. And we must identify these things in measurable outcomes. So for example, I'm in the process of writing a book. I've always wanted to write a book. So I wrote the outline. So the objective is to write a book. Then I have to say to myself, how long do I give myself to write the book? So let's say 3 months for the final first draft. Okay. And I can outline the chapters. How many pages a day do I have to write? And how much research do I have to do in this case? So so in order for me to meet my objective of writing a book in 3 months, I have to meet benchmarks and milestones, which includes how much writing I do every day, how much research I do, so on and so forth. Okay, so measurable outcomes, specific timetable, specific executionable milestones. All these are items that puts us on the road towards our marketing objective or any objective. So what will the integrated marketing communication program accomplish? And and what relevant messages are we there to deliver to our audience? Now, a sales oriented objective is very specific. Sales, they want to sell more. And the question, when we say it requires an economic justification, it means everything we do in our communication objective has to lead to sales. So the ROI, meaning return on investment, for example, is should we do an email campaign or should we do on ads on Instagram? Now, Instagram ads may get people to scroll through, they may get people to click like, but are they generating sales? By the way, in case you want to know, a lot of brands do not do well on social media. And just because someone makes a comment, it doesn't mean that they will buy the product. Now, I'm not talking about social commerce. I'm talking about just the fact that, oh, I like this. All right. So everything we do in communications to accomplish a sales objective, we must define it as, does it make economic sense? If I'm going to spend $1,000, let's say on Google AdWords, how much am I going to get back in sales? Okay, and this is different than marketing. Marketing can be about awareness. It could be about building loyalty, not necessarily about sales. Sales are money in our pocket. How much are we going to get? So a sales-oriented objective requires that all the marketing elements work together, right? The promotion, the brand image, the positioning on a shelf. And the other thing is that advertising has this thing called a carryover effect, meaning that, okay, I'll let you in a little bit of my life. I'm thinking about buying an iPhone 12, not because I saw the ad, but because maybe it's time to upgrade from my iPhone 7, right? And I like the new camera, so on and so forth. But here's the question. I saw the ad. I saw my Apple announce this last year, but I still haven't bought it. Well, it's on my mind, and I'll probably do it at some point. I'm waiting for the stores to open. That's one thing. I would like to go into an Apple store to buy it. But the other thing is I've been dragging my feet. So a lot of items have carryover effect. For example, let's say we saw a brand new flavor of a cereal, but we still have 2 unopened boxes. We're probably going to wait to finish those boxes before we buy it. We may wait to get a promotion from our phone carrier before we get a new phone. Or a new car, we may wait till the lease expires. We may wait to buy a new house until we're married, or we get a promotion or a raise at work. So what I'm saying is that just because you saw it today, are aware of it today, you may want to have it today, it's not possible for you to have it today. So advertising did its job. They convinced you to look into this product and to put it into your evoked set. Remember the evoked set, right? It's a list of products we have and brands we have in our head that we are positive feeling towards and we want to buy. So the carryover effect means I will do it, but I can't do it now. It'll be in the future. So how that works is that the sale doesn't get recorded until that future date. And how do we track it back that to say that the advertising did it or that post on Instagram? It's called attribution, and we really can't do it really well. So basically, so advertising money doesn't always have an immediate impact on sales. Sure, if it's a movie, it may. If it's a Broadway show, it may. But if you're advertising for a Hawaiian vacation or a cruise, it may not. So here are certain factors that influence sales. Technology, there's better ways of doing things. So for example, you may not walk into a store. You may use Instacart, let's say, and the store actually loses money on Instacart sales. The competition could be running sales or lowering or giving you benefits to buy a different product. You may want a product, but it's not distributed in your area. Price may be too high. Product quality may have declined. The economy, that's always a big one, especially today. A lot of people have lost their jobs, unfortunately, because of the pandemic. So they're not going to be splurging on certain items. They're going to save their money. So all of these are about the external environment that influence how we're going to sell, and what we're going to sell, and in what time frame. The problem, though, is that companies need to have sales every month, and every quarter, every 3 months, they do a review. And unfortunately, excuses only go so far. Um, it's a reality. So these are different sales versus communications objectives, and we have to look at it in context. So please review this. So consumers go through these three stages, as you saw in the previous chapters. Cognitive, they're thinking about it. Affective, meaning that they love it, they don't love it, how we're affected by it. And then cognitive means we're going to take some action. All right. So communications objectives need to affect all three stages. And this is how it really, really works. Let's say 1,000 people may have, out of 1,000 people, 90% of them have awareness, which out of 1,000, that means 900, all the way up to 5% who will buy. So 5% of 1,000 is 50 people. So out of 50 people, I'm sorry, out of 1,000 people, 50 may actually become customers. And that's really the challenge that we face. So how do we translate sales goals into communications objective? Somebody wants to increase sales by 10%. I'm making this up. Well, what do we do as far as communications objectives? How much media do we have to buy? What kind of message do we have to create? What channels do we have to deliver it through? And what part of the IMC do we use, right? PR, promote, sales promotion, direct. What are we doing? You see, because while a sales objective could be 5 or 10 or 15%, whatever it is, communications objectives aren't that clear because we can't be that specific in reality, because we're guessing. We're saying, like, if you increase your advertising budget by 12%, you should be able to achieve those goals. Should doesn't mean you will. So while sales and marketing objectives can be very clear, communications objectives, no matter how much digital ads you do or whatever, no matter what, by whatever I mean digital, traditional, doesn't really matter. You're still doing a very good educated guess. And that is the problem. You cannot give an exact number in communications to say that will guarantee sales or marketing objectives being accomplished. Well, I want to thank you for watching. And it's a very short chapter. And I wish you luck. And if you have any questions, I am available.